All right, hello everybody, and welcome to Theorycraft Thursday. I, of course, am your host, Ursinity. I'm here with my co-host, Proud Dota. Hello, Proud Dota.
Proud of Dota.
Yep, we, of course, are everybody's favorite language learning podcast, and today we are going to be learning the Korean word for elephant, which is kokiri, and that's it. That's the show. Goodbye, everybody.
That was a good one. I'm glad I know how to say it now.
And sometimes people call walruses para kokiri. That's it. That's all I got.
That's good.
So that's the show. Goodbye, everybody. You can find us on defensepations.com. Follow me at Ursinity, at Proud Dota. That's it. Yep. Patreon if you'd like more long podcasts like this one. Anyway, let's talk about Dota, shall we? Let's just go along with that.
Okay.
We've both played Dota to varying degrees this week. I've been playing more Dota. I've been re-energizing myself with the game in fun ways and actually quite enjoying myself despite my lull last week. I am up and at 'em. So how has your week in Dota been, Proud? Hopefully you are similarly excited with Dota.
It's been fine. I had some games where I was like, like the stuff that was working for me just stopped working. I don't know if the meta really did shift or what, but like the ways that I've been playing have just not been working anymore. So I transferred to a lot of like Terrorblade and Arc Warden, and I actually played a Phantom Assassin game because they picked an AM, and I was like, oh, okay, I'm just going to kill everyone then. And that was very fun. I played one of those like Lich games where you just give yourself to your mid laner or whatever. And play a little bit of Shaker, play a little bit of Troll, play a little bit of Necrophos as one needs to do in these trying times, and just shit like that.
How you like Troll recently? I've played like one or two Troll games recently, and I've actually had a lot of success with him. What have you been doing? I've been doing I've been going FaZe, Aki, Mask of Madness, Sage and Yasha, Silver Edge, or just Shadowblade, and then it depends what I need. But the main
Sage and Yasha, BKB, and then either Scotty or MKB. Normally MKB, unless you really need the survivability.
Yeah. I really like the Mask of Madness because like it amps up your farming speed, great. And like you basically always have max attack speed between your ult and also your Mask of Madness. It's great. I've had a lot of success with Terrorblade as well. I forget if we talked about this recently, but I haven't been picking that much. But I think I played like maybe 2 games in the last couple weeks. But one of my friends plays a lot of Terrorblade, and I've been playing a lot of party ranked with him. And so I've been seeing great success out of Terrorblade recently. I'm into it.
He's solid. I mean, I got a plus 32 last night in an hour and 20-minute game, and it was just like, it was, dude, like, Terrorblade just kills Nakes. Like, Lifestealer just loses to Terrorblade. Like, the game was like at a state where in the set of farm that Lifestealer had, I actually couldn't fight into him. It was absurdly scary. He was just like, I actually have 90 armor now. It's like, all right, I guess I'll just wait for your like Q to wear off, and then Zeus will handle you because I'm just like done with this shit. I'm gonna go kill Invoker.
Yeah. I've had some similar situations like that. Like theoretically, I should be winning this, but I'm not winning this at all. Yeah.
Yeah.
My week in Dota. Let's see. I randomed, and I, of course, am known for hating randoming in general, but I was in a party stack, and I was like, nobody even like moused to a lane. I was like, all right, whatever, I'm just going to random. My first random was Tiny, and I was like, oh, Tiny sucks right now, I'm not going to play Tiny. So I re-randomed, and I got Meepo, and this was like, was it the highest MMR? It was like a 4,500 MMR, average MMR game. So it wasn't like it was like a 3K game, like an unranked where I could just like hang out. And although it was all party queue people, but still, I ran a Meepo and I was like, oh my god, dude, like I'm so sorry because I was stacked with 2 people. And I was like, I'll just wing it and it'll be fine. I thought about taking the abandon on the nose and just being like, all right, whatever. I'll just take the abandon. I haven't abandoned in a long time. I won't get low prio. But I actually managed to win that game, and I had a positive KDA, and I did a lot of building damage.
That's good.
So that was just one of those experiences where I was like,
did you blink combo, or did you just like have melee creeps that were strong?
I especially with my new keyboard, I'm still not like it's. Okay. I feel like it's a mechanical keyboard. And I used to use a non-mechanical keyboard, and I'm still adjusting when I'm doing like fast keyboard keystrokes and whatnot. Like there's still some like infinitesimal, like noticeable but not specific enough to be really noticeable, like lag in between key presses. Like when I play Invoker, it took me probably like a half dozen games of Invoker to get used to this keyboard, and I definitely didn't have that going with Meepo. But I just statted up a lot, and I ratted, and then I just like inserted myself into fights and like CC'd their Sven. Also, it's the typical thing, I first ran a Meepo, so they went super hard into countering me with like a mid-lesh rack, which sucks. Then they picked Sven and Warlock. And
little did they know, you don't even know what you're doing.
On the upside, what equaled the game out was that not only like I was playing a hero that I have no right playing, right, Meepo. And I played as a 4. I didn't play mid. I was like, dude, just sack it. I'm going to like roaming support. It'll be fine. And it ended up working out. I mostly just jungled after like 6 minutes or so. But they had a jungle Shadow Fiend. So each team was gimped horribly by one player, right?
That's
like
terrible.
My team was ruined because I was playing Meepo, and their team was ruined because they had a jungle Shadow Fiend. So it's basically like a 4v4, except I was just like nominally useful, whereas the Shadow Fiend was not useful at all. So yeah, that was the only like exciting game this week. Other than that, just a bunch of generic random games. Magnus, Winter Wyvern. Played a bunch of Kunkka 4, because like I kind of sick of playing Earthshaker as a 4, even though obviously that's what we're going to be doing today. But you're going to be doing it, not me. I was kind of just like, man, there's too many 4 Earthshaker games. I don't want to play Earthshaker again. Like, I've played him too many times recently. So, a few Kunkka games. And then what I'm going to be playing today, I've been playing Nature's Prophet. And that's what I've been having a ton of fun on. And it's kind of, like I said, re-energized me to enjoy pubs again. And I played a Zeus game, and Zeus is always super fun. As you were saying on Tuesday.
It was very easy.
Yeah, dude, like you said, dude, Zeus Ags is so much fun. It's amazing.
It is the best item.
Yeah, I also like, I just played a Nature's Prophet game before we started recording, and I had a Zeus in my game, and he was just like, it was super killer. He'd just be like, yo, all right, I'm going to ult in 5 seconds. When I ult and I'm going to throw my Ags down, you're going to ult too. And we just killed this Lina over and over and over again. It's like, no, there's no hiding. There's no hiding. Oh man, it was great. So yeah, I won't talk too much about Nature's Prophet because that's what we're going to talk about later during that segment.
Great.
First off, though, let's get into our real segment, which is going to be all about ratting. And Rat Dota has kind of fallen by the wayside compared to its heyday, a few years ago. Would you say I would say it's not in its worst position historically. Like, there has been patches that are much worse for ratting than this one.
Yeah,
but you still don't see that much ratting, right?
It's not as like bad as it's ever been, but it's certainly not emphasized. But when it is useful, it's like, that's kind of how it is with these super 5-man heavy metas. If everyone's 5-manning, then ratting is like either super effective or immediately loses you the game, right? Because if they're 5-manning, there's gonna be space to rat. But if they're 5-manning, there may not be time to rat. So that's like the kind of balance. Like, do you have space? Yeah, but do you have time? Like, you need to answer both questions, and it can be a little difficult to get them both to check out as a yeah.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So the heroes that, the traditional rat heroes, right? In my mind, Nature's Prophet's number 1, right? I think pretty much everybody would agree with that. But then the other big rat hero for me in my mind, I always think of Lycan, and Lycan, I would
disagree
say
strongly, man. Lycan hasn't been a rat hero for a very long time.
Yeah, I think that's a very accurate statement. But there was a time when he was definitely a hero that could just rat. You'd be like, we took a fight against 4 people. We forgot about the Lycan, and suddenly he has like a Desolator and a Necro 3, and he just took our base.
Yeah, I mean that's true for most carries, but if most carries are in your base while you're doing that, like a Juggernaut could be in your base, and that would like.
Well, Juggernaut doesn't have a howl.
Yeah, what I'm saying is that whether or not Juggernaut or whether or not Lycan can take the base really fast he's not like a rat hero just because he can take a base real fast.
Because he's not sustained. Because ratting is just sustained pushing in lanes that the enemy team is not, right? It's just evasive pushing.
It's like safe pushing. Like, you're pushing and when they can't, it costs too many resources for them to like stop you or whatever. But that, I wouldn't say that's like sustained. That's just like, oh shit, Lycan popped that out of nowhere. Like, how did Lycan pop out of nowhere? He walks. And then he ults for 18 seconds that has a 2-second cast animation. Like, he's not going to surprise anyone. If he's there, he just walked there. AM is like blinking through trees and teleporting around and shit. Prophet like fair. Teleports. The reason that Lycan used to be a rat hero is that his ult was an instant cast. So as soon as you start your TP, he's just like, okay, I'm gone. And then it would also give him like 1,000 fucking health. So you could just like be in a lane, and as soon as you show up, he's just out. But now that's just not the case. So he's not really a rat hero.
Yeah, that's fair. I suppose there's two different ways of thinking about ratting. You have ratting that is committal, and then I'm talking with the Lycan, like, oh, they're taking a fight, and my Lycan decide to dodge that fight and then just go try to kill the base. And there's the kind of gradual rat, oh, I'm going to chip away at this tier 2 tower for like 10 minutes and eventually get it. That's probably too long of a period. I'll chip away at this tower over the course of 3 or 4 pushes on an AM and then eventually get it. Stuff like that. I think just to go back to like, you know, the moral of the story, what do you think is one of the key, or what are the key reasons why ratting is kind of falling by the wayside, even on where you're just seeing it less, right? I feel like there was a time where we would see ratting virtually every game, right? It used to be a legit strategy. I remember reading threads on like Learn Dota 2 or R Dota 2 that was like, if you want to hit, you know, insert 1,000 MMR, just rat and you'll be fine, because people at X 1,000 MMR don't know how to deal with rat Dota. Like, that used to be a thing that I used to see all the time. Whereas now it's like, some games it works out and some games it doesn't.
Yeah, I mean, it's just because everyone's 5-manning now. Like, people fight all the time, and if you're not engaged in that, your team is 4v5 and they're going to die, and then the other team's going to snowball and end the game faster than you can rat.
Yeah.
Like, that's just how it is. Like, if you're anti-mage and I pick Phantom Assassin, which is what happened, I think, the last game I just played, more or less what happened is like, okay, I stomped my lane and our mid did fine and our offlaner did fine, and I just like kept going from tower to tower, and then as soon as I got my Deso, we took all the tier 2s in Roche, and like while we did that, AM took a tier 3 and we're like, great, have fun with that. And then we like pushed out the lane he got a tier 3 in, and then we went and Raxed, and he managed to take out another tier 3, but we took a Rax, and then we did the same thing again. He got a ranged Rax and we got another Rax. And then we got Megas, and he killed 2 of our Raxes. We're like, all right, we got 1 Rax left, and you're Mega. We 5-manned, and you ratted, and you lost the race to take 3 Raxes. The game's over now. Like, that's it. That's how the game works. Like, it doesn't matter if you're ratting if we're, like, taking out the base's 5 people faster than you are as, you know, 1 fucking anti-mage. Yeah.
So, okay, well, not necessarily using that example, but that is, like, a very good, simple example of when ratting is not the right choice, right? When ratting goes poorly. What do you think makes ratting sometimes acceptable, though? Right? Because like we said earlier, we're not in a patch where ratting is like a non-existent strategy. It's just a strategy that is finicky.
The best way to be ratting is when your team as 4 people can not even necessarily defeat, but trade at least relatively okay as 4 with a tower against 5. And also where you have the ability to like help your team as soon as the fight looks like you could insert yourself into it and it's okay. And also in the situation where you are able to begin doing building damage before the enemy team is like organized. So like if let's say someone that they were preparing to push our tier 2, and then before they like do their initiation or whatever, Anti-Mage's push is already like attacking the tier 2. It's like already at half health or some shit. Then they can commit, and maybe one of them will be like, oh no, let's save our tier 2, and maybe like they'll try to port, and then the other guys will go in because they hadn't initiated yet, but now they're starting, but then they see someone else ported. Then as soon as you see the port go in, oh, you port back to your team on the tower that they're attacking, and great, now it's like 4v5 in your favor, and you have that. Or you just like, you know, take that tower, the one person that ported in, maybe you just solo kill them. Or I mean, if it's a core, you can just go back to, you know, your own tower and just kill them because they're missing a core. And if it's a support, you know, just kill them and trade towers or some shit like that. Yeah, I mean, it's just like, it's not really like there's certain like situations or game states. Like obviously if they're super ahead, you don't really have any option but to rat. But I mean, I don't know, like you fucking rat.
So I don't have a good name for this, but I was going to call it micro ratting. It's something that you do a lot, and it's a really fascinating decision-making process, I think. And what I'm trying to get to what I'm calling micro
Now I'm
ratting is
curious
when
what I do.
it's when, all right, so like we're 5 men pushing mid, let's say, right? We're Radiant team, we're pushing mid, and they fight into our team mid, but instead of participating in the fight, because I did this earlier today when I was playing my Nature's Prophet game, you just divert instantly to the other lane, take their Raxes, and then trust your team's going to figure it out in the fight, or at least delay, right? It's like, that's why I call it micro ratting, right?
I just fuck off.
Yeah, you're just a coward.
No, because you know how many anytime you're high grinding, you're like, can someone please fucking hit these buildings? And I'm like, I'll do it. I'm the carry. That's my job. I'm gonna hit the buildings.
Yeah, but it's just like you're pushing mid, and then you're like, I'm gonna hit the buildings in bottom or top or whatever, right? What goes into that thought process exactly? Is that like because you definitely do this, right? Like, this is definitely a thing you do. All right. I'm not hallucinating.
Yeah, people dive like fucking idiots. And then if I also do that, we're all going to fucking die.
Well, sometimes the enemy team is fighting into us. And like you or I will go and rat a building.
Fighting forward. Fight backwards.
Yeah. Okay. I'm trying to make like a moral argument.
No, fuck you.
Not a moral argument, but like a strategic element to this.
Yeah, no, I mean, every decision that you make in Dota is based off of what you think is going to most safely or most reliably, cost benefit analysis wise, bring you towards a win, right? So if we're doing a fight and assuming that the teams are relatively even, or that it is a fight and not just, us rolling someone over, fighting like behind enemy Raxes is an extremely risky move and the number one way to throw. Killing buildings is not a risky move, and it's a number one way to end the game. So at the very least, if my team dies and I get out, we took a Rax. And the worst case scenario is, the worst case scenario is that it goes even. Or I guess the worst thing that can happen if I take the Rax is that we go even. Most of the time it'll be I take the Raxes, we have 1 or 2 people left alive, they blew their entire load, they have no spells left, and there's like a Witch Doctor with half health and Voodoo Restoration going, and I don't know, a Pudge who still has mana for 2 hooks or something, and I have all my shit up and they're all fucking spent, and I just like go in and save my boys and we're good. That's way better than like the worst case scenario of me going into that is like we take some fight under Raxes and then we die because they keep kiting us backwards and then we end up in their fountain and we didn't take any fucking buildings.
Yeah. Okay.
Building damage is good. I'm a building damage player, man. If you ever look at my Pentagon, it's always like my highest thing is always building damage. It doesn't fucking, or pushing. Pushing is all, I just looked. It's very much my highest. I never don't have that. It's the best. Like, how you win Dota, you fucking kill buildings.
Okay.
Do that.
I'm down for it. So... Do we have anything else to say on ratting? Like, I feel like...
Yeah, so the important ratting now isn't like, I took your tier 2. Like, I don't give a fuck about a tier 2. Name me a single person in your life who has ever cared about a tier 2.
Me. But not in a good time. It's usually like, oh man, I wish I had that.
Yeah, you can give a shit about a tier 2.
It's usually like, I wish I had that to TP2, actually. More importantly.
Yeah. Tier 2s don't matter. What matters is forcing your enemy to go back. And that can be very easy. If, like, cutting waves is super fucking easy. Like, that's wild simple. Like, you get an illusion rune or something, don't, like, send it to where you think the creep wave is gonna be. Just send it fucking, like, outside of their racks and just, like, kill that wave. And then, they can't push that lane for another, like, minute. Just like, port to like if you're Arc Warden or Terrorblade, I don't know, port to a fucking shrine, summon your double or summon an illusion, and then just like send it around, and then whoop, you cut a wave. Now the enemy team can't Rax for a full minute. Good shit, friends. Or 30 seconds, but assuming you just killed a wave, and then they're gonna have to wait 30 seconds, and then you killed the one that's coming. That's another 30 seconds. Good shit. So like cutting waves is awesome. Ratting is still good. It's just that Spirit Breaker is meta, and also so is 5-man. Like, it's really hard to rat against any team that has, like, blink disables.
Yeah.
Because, like, then you just fucking die. It sucks.
Yeah, especially, like, in the late game where it's like, oh, okay, I'm trying to rat, but they had a Sven with a Shadow Blade and a Blink Dagger. And it's like, well...
Yeah.
Or just one of those items, and it's like, well, I ratted, but now I'm dead for 80 seconds because it's 52 minutes, and of course I'm dead for this long. It's like,
Yeah,
well,
it's-
I just lost the game for my team. Yeah.
It's like anytime you're against an Earthshaker, it's like, oh man, like fucking, I don't know. Terrorblade is fine. Anti-Mage, why aren't you ratting that lane? It's like, because if the fucking Earthshaker fissures me, and then blinks and stuns me, and then blinks and does his other stun to me, and then Lion blinks and does his stun to me, and then he does his Hex to me, and then Sven comes and then you die. You just fucking die, and you don't know. You're just dead. So, yeah, like, ratting is dangerous, and heroes like Anti-Mage and Prophet, it can be a little hard to do, but, like, that's kind of why I like Arc Warden and Terrorblade so much right now, is because they can do that 5-manny stuff. Like, Terrorblade in a fucking 5-on-5, like, Terrorblade cleans up, dude. That dude is a fucking monster. But at the same time, like, I can split farm very well, and I can rat in this, like, at the same, you know, like, by the same token or whatever. And Arc Warden, like, let's see, my last Arc Warden game was a loss, but goddamn did I fucking drag that shit out. My last Arc Warden win, was like an hour long, and it was just fucking pain the whole way. But that's just what you gotta do. Yeah. Just you fucking cut lanes, man. Just cut them up. Slice it up. Slice and dice.
All right.
Chop it up.
So what I'm going to be playing today is Nature's Prophet, who
is,
like we said, definitely a rat hero, but I've been playing it and enjoying it largely just because watching some pro games and watching a lot of high-level pubs. Nature's Prophet's all over the place. Like, the hero is way good and has been for quite a while.
I hate that fucking dude.
Yeah, I also hate him. That's why, like, you know how you like embraced Bloodseeker and Necrophos? I've embraced Nature's Prophet. I think that's my goal for the next 3 weeks or however long before we get this blessed patch.
Why was fucking trees do like
they deal
twice
a lot.
as much damage as my bear? Like 8 times as much damage.
Yeah, so
Druid fucking sucks, man.
After seeing a whole bunch of games of him, I was like, all right, I got to try this out. I read through a few guides. I looked through, you know, the guide section on Dota Buff and other stuff like that. Just watching games. Also, I gleaned some information. And
what did you glean?
Well, I see some people do Midas instead of drums. Most people do the drums.
Idiots.
And then no, the Midas thing is
sucks.
just situational.
It's shit, Sam. All right, would you just stop?
I don't like Midas either. I haven't done it actually in any of my Nature's Prophet games recently, but people do it.
I just can't. I can't imagine the situation because like that seems like a pub thing, like that you would just do because you're just like, no, I'm gonna Midas. I want it now.
I don't think I've seen it in a pro game, but I've seen it in like 7,000 MMR pubs. Like, yeah. People do drums Midas sometimes, or Midas drums. Like, that's how much they like the Midas. Yeah, I mean, just
fine.
Attack speed is really good on him in the first place because your level 10 and 15 talents both give you, or 10 and 15. Let me make sure.
They're not both damage. I can probably guess that one.
One is int and one is damage.
Okay, so they both provide.
Yeah, at 10 you get 30 damage, or you can get 30 damage, and then at 15 you either get +4 treants, or you can get, what's the alternative? 20 int, so 20 extra damage.
So would you say that's as good as +4 treants?
Most people go in for +4 treants, but it really depends. In my thought processes in games, it's been more dependent on, do they have answers to my treants already? If so, they're probably going to kill 4 of them also. Like, the difference between me sending out 5 treants and 9 treants is probably just going to be them getting 100 extra gold if they're playing like a draft that has a bunch of wave clear. If they're playing a draft that doesn't have good wave clear or has only one hero with wave clear, then I'll go in for +4 treants and just, you know, accept the fact that sometimes I'm going to feed a little extra gold. Especially because you get the
bullshit.
Yeah, it's silly.
He has like 6 armor at level 10. I don't know. I was against a Prophet that had he got like an Aquila early, and I was a dude who did physical damage. And let's equip an Aquila to this guy. He had like fucking 9 armor. Like, what the fuck? Who lets him just have that?
His problem is more that just he has no health. Like, he's a really low HP hero. The drums do solve that problem, or at least assuage that problem in a large part. And you get them so quickly that you're reasonably safe in the mid game. That's when you can really like set up things to go well for your team and for yourself. in my experience, the only so I have not played against Spirit Breaker in any of my Nature's Prophet games, but Spirit Breaker is like the one hero that I'm really obviously concerned about playing Nature's Prophet on.
Yeah.
But even then, I like playing Nature's Prophet against Spirit Breaker and global strategies just through virtue
'cause
of
you can pop in.
exactly, yeah. Like they gank
Pop
my
in there.
mid, and not only do I have a Rubik TPing to the tower, I also have a Nature's Prophet TPing to
just pop
behind
in.
him or whatever.
Dude, have
So
you seen his fucking damage range?
it's a lot.
It's big. That's
What is
fucking
his
14.
damage range? 14 damage?
Yeah, dude,
Jeez.
55 to 69.
That's
This
a
dude
lot.
fucks.
Jesus, I didn't even realize that it was that much of a
It's a big
damage
one,
range.
huh? Yeah, what is Chaos Knight like? How does that measure up? Okay, Chaos Knight's is 30. I'll
Is it
slow my roll
actually
here.
30?
Yeah, Chaos Knight's damage range is fucking 30, dude.
That's unreal. There was some other hero recently that
whoa, he's chaotic, crazy. Like, no,
Yeah.
this is just fucking clunky as shit.
that's why he's bad. Yeah.
Turn it down.
I was trying to think. There was some other hero recently that I discovered had like a 14-point range, and I was like, this is ridiculous. Why does this exist?
I don't
But
know.
now I can't
Arc
remember
Warden has
off
a
the
range
top
of
of my
10. Who the fuck let that happen? Like 44 to 54. That's like either I can get a last hit or I can't. That's just it's a fucking game, dude.
Yeah, that's either I get out damaged by a sniper or I out damage the sniper. That's when you know.
It's kind of who knows.
Yeah, you just gotta roll the dice. Yeah, so the build that I've done different builds in both my recent games, but I've always gone phase. I start with boots, one set of tangos, a clarity, and a branch. One game I didn't start with a branch because I had lost like 6 gold from people not picking, myself included. Right. Then I go right in for phase ASAP. I keep a TP scroll, that way I can I feel like a lot of people don't carry TPs on Nature's Prophet because they're like, oh, I have my own TP. Why would I do that? But when you have both, then you have like maximum mobility, and you can be like, oh, I'm low, I'm gonna go back to base and then immediately be back in lane. So like, like in this game that I just played earlier today, they committed, let's see, what heroes was it? They committed like a Sven stun, Sven ult, a clockwork rocket, and Alina, what's it called, Dragon Slave or something like that. Like, they committed a whole bunch of stuff, and then I barely got out with like 100 health. I TP'd back to base with my TP scroll, then I TP'd into mid lane and got a kill like right away, right? And no other hero is going to be able to regen that fast and come back in. And if I had not had a TP scroll and I had to
Tinker
TP,
could.
yeah, Tinker. Well, not at like 6 minutes, unless Tinker was very fed.
No, that's true.
But if I had not had a TP scroll, I would have used my teleport to get back to base, and then I would have had to TP to tower and then not being able to position well. So, and whenever you're going back to base, I always use a TP scroll until the late game when you have like the 20-second cooldown on teleport.
Yeah.
Or if you're hit level 25, the 0-second cooldown on teleport. Potentially, if you choose that. So yeah, it's very interesting in mobility. I've never been a Nature's Prophet player before this. I've dabbled on the hero, like picked him once or twice. But this is really my first foray into Nature's Prophet territory. After phase, I just go straight into drums. The bracer is really big for not dying.
Health points?
to put it simply. Yeah, health points. And then after that, in my most recent game, I went Maelstrom. I went Maelstrom, Force Staff, Sheep Stick. Then I finished out my Hurricane Pike. Well, I needed a Force Staff because there was a Clockwork on the enemy team.
Yeah, but where's the Sheep Stick fit into that? That's the
They
weird
had a
part.
fed Sven who did not yet have a BKB, and a fed Shadow Fiend who did not yet have a BKB. So
that's weird. Yeah,
So I was like,
alright.
eventually I built a Bloodthorn in the super late game because their BKBs were low, but I knew their BKBs were coming, so I did not want to go in for a Bloodthorn right away. Also, I was super fat. I was like, see, I'm 15, 7, and 25 in this game at the end of the game, but I got like, I think I had like a 12 kill streak at one point, and it was in that mid game where we just walked around like just dominating.
Yeah.
So
you just found yourself with like a Mystic Staff worth of gold, and you're like, fuck it, here we go.
Exactly. It was like I couldn't decide, and I was like, all right, I have 3,600 gold or whatever. I was like, I'm gonna have a Mystic Staff now. And I mean, Sheep is obviously a really good item despite the nerfs to it, and it's kind of fallen out of favor on a lot of heroes, but it's still quite good. And then I finished out Mjolnir and Bloodthorn. In my other game, I ended it too fast, but I did just go drums, Mjolnir, and I went drums. Everything gets out of order when you upgrade items on Dota.
Yeah. Did you know that it's only one drum? It's just Drum of Endurance.
Oh, that's true. But there's like 6 charges.
Yeah, but
it just breaks
because it breaks. Yeah, It's not very.
It's not
sturdy.
very good leather.
No, it's just kind of crap. It's like an old decrepit beaver, just kind of splayed over some log.
So in this game,
why is it Drum of Endurance if it just runs out? Like, it doesn't have a lot of endurance, honestly.
That is a good point, actually.
You can use your whole drum out in like 4 minutes.
Maybe you gotta pound on it so hard it's like you know how in anime, and a lot of times they'll be like, oh, I can only use this spell 5 times before my body breaks down, like freaking Rock Lee or whatever.
Dragons, you only got like 3 spell casts a day.
Yeah. The Drum of Endurance. Well, you don't die at the end of the day if you've used all your spell casts.
You do the way I play.
Yeah, maybe you do. But maybe the drum is like that. It's like, right, normally it'd be in a Drum of Endurance, but it's so good that if you really bang on it hard, you can just like use it all up, and then after 6 times, it's gone. Regardless, the drums are super good, especially just for those mid-game timing pushes where you have like Nature's Prophet. He just shows up to a lane and you're like, all right, I'm going to take a tier 2 now and delay, and then you commit with a drum charge and really set the tempo. And in my other game, I went drums, Orchid, Mjolnir, Bloodthorn. But this is another game where like I just had way too much money, so I like didn't need to build a BKB or anything like that. I probably should have built a BKB in that game, but I was feeling ballsy. So yeah, I've not tried to do anything with Desolator and going full rat.
I'm not a fan of Deso Prophet.
And I've not gone Shadowblade either. And a lot of people do Shadowblade just for, again, routing purposes and those super evasive purposes. But unless I needed the Silver Edge, active, I would really not bother. Just in general, because I feel like it doesn't suit my playstyle as much. I'm not as adept a rat player, and I think I have a little too much faith in enemy team to be carrying dust. I feel like that's a running theme of me as a Dota 2 player. I assume the enemy team is going to have vision, and frequently they do not. And it's just playing a little too safe.
My rule of thumb is you always get, like, your first escape is always going to work. And then after that, you need to be concerned. But, like, if I get a Shadowblade, like, until the fucking enemy carry flames their support and is like, why the fuck do you not have dust? And then the support's like, oh, fine, I'll buy it. But until that point, I am fucking set.
Yeah. I like the Maelstrom a lot just because I've been picking the damage talent and the int talent instead of the 4 tree and summon in these most recent games. And you just dish out an absurd amount of damage when you have attack speed. And the more, the merrier. Other than that,
attack speed's good.
At 20, it's 10 armor or 35 attack speed. It really depends. Normally I would go armor, but in some games, like, you can just, like, if they just can't deal damage to you, it's like, all right, sure, I'll get attack speed.
Armor right now.
And then 25, you can choose from the double Treant HP / damage or remove teleportation cooldown. I have, let's see. So I didn't hit 25 in one of my games. In the other game, I did hit 25, and I was 25 for a long time. Actually, it was a long game. And I did go in for the 2 times Treant HP damage, but honestly, it didn't feel worth it. I would have rather had removed teleportation cooldown. Just because if they've committed a bunch of heroes to countering Nature's Prophet, or even not committed, but even if they just happenstance have a bunch of heroes that are good at killing treants, it's really, they're still, unless you're a support, they're still very killable, right? Like, a Shadow Fiend is still going to kill a bunch of treants, whether they have 2 times HP or not. So, in those games, I would probably go for teleportation cooldown, but even then, it's kind of iffy. Most people I see prefer the treant HP damage, though.
As far as, like, in your average game of Prophet, I feel like I almost always see, like, Orchid, or I guess Maelstrom too, kind of, but it's pretty much just like Orchid after Drum. Is that your experience as well? Yeah,
most people, they build it either like first item after drums or second item after drums. Yeah, very rarely would I not build it at all. Like in the game earlier that I played, I built it as my final item, but that's only because I built a scythe because I was like snowballing super hard. If I had not suddenly had the income to just be like, hey, I'm gonna have a Mystic Staff now, I would have piecemeal bought out the Bloodthorn.
Orchid.
Yeah, Orchid, yes.
Blood.
Other than that, yeah, I mean, I'm just scrolling through games, and it's mostly people have some combination of Phase, Drums, Orchid, Maelstrom, one defensive item, usually BKB, sometimes Shadowblade, sometimes Lincoln's.
Yeah.
And that's the general feel of the hero. Like, you can kind of do a lot of different things. Like, you can go AC if you need it. You can commit to, if you are these, like, building damage style, and get the Desolator. But personally, I've not done that yet. We'll see. I honestly don't know what I'm going to do this game, because I feel like it's a hero that you have to feel it out, right? You can't just commit and say, oh, I'm going to build this every game. It's very like, oh, this game I'm going to build a Silver Edge because they have a PA. This game I'm not going to do that. This game I'm going to go Bloodthorn early because they have whatever, etc., etc.
It's like pretty similar to Arc Warden in that you can, like, your hero doesn't really do a lot in particular, so you can just itemize for whatever situation you want as long as it's focused around right clicking in some respect.
Yeah, absolutely. So
you can have a fucking Solar Crest, like, whatever, man.
Yeah, I've not played Solar Crest Prophet. Actually, maybe I did like a month ago when I played it last before this most recent.
I'm sure when Solar Crest still had like -2 more armor than it does now, I'm sure you played Solar Crest on Prophet. If you were playing Prophet, you probably had a Solar Crest anyways.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've talked about a lot about in the offlane how certain offlane picks create core weaknesses in a team comp that you need to compensate for with other heroes. You
gotta stop saying core weaknesses. You need to stop saying, because core is already a term in Dota.
It's a Dota term.
It doesn't work at all.
It's
not
right.
Core weakness. It's a weakness in your support duo, or I guess it's just a weakness in your team composition.
Well, it is a core weakness if it's your offlaner.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Anyway, yes. So it creates a weakness in your team comp where in most games you're assuming your offlaner is going to provide a stun or a blink, usually a blink stun and or team fight, right? So you have offlaners like Enigma and Tidehunter that provide that team fight crowd control. But then you have offlaners like Centaur that provide that blink stun and Earthshaker that provide that blink stun damage.
Sand King,
Slaughter,
like
Sand King,
Axe or whatever. And this isn't to say I mean, Axe and some of those other heroes aren't like viable or whatever, but just in general, like, they're more or less options. And the idea behind that isn't like all the good offlaners do this one thing. It's like no matter what situation, like there are enough blink stunning offlaners and enough like blink team fighty lockdown offlaners that almost no matter what situation you find yourself in, you will be able to select a blink stunner that works or a team fight offlaner that works.
Yes.
Just because there's enough diversity of those heroes that you can always find one. But if you're forced to like not do something like that, there's not enough diversity to like ensure that you'll get, whatever the fuck Underlord does, you like that role. Like, or maybe it's not a good Underlord game. Well, then you can't do that thing. Anyway.
Yeah. Well, exactly. So you're, in most team comps, going to have something that provides, like you said, from that suite of generic offlaners, provides either a blink stun or a team fight stun or some variation on that. Yeah. But when you're picking an offlaner like an Underlord or like a Nature's Prophet, you need to compensate for the offlaner not providing one of those two generally assumed offlaner things by picking a 4 or in some cases even a mid laner or a safe laner, what have you, to do that thing instead, right? So like we're going to be doing today, right? Us picking a Nature's Prophet offlane, while Nature's Prophet has all these strengths to him that we discussed and all strengths that other offlaners do not provide necessarily, he does not provide that blink stun that we're assuming our offlaner does. That's why you want to pick it when you have an offlane Earthshaker or vice versa. If you see an offlane Nature's Prophet on your team, you want to be picking a 4 that is an Earthshaker or a Slardar or something along those lines that's going to be providing that
Earth
blink
Spirit,
stun skirmish.
Whatever.
Earth Spirit, exactly.
Spirit Breaker.
Instead of like if you pick a 4 Night Stalker, sure, that's a good hero, but it's not a good hero necessarily with the Nature's Prophet, unless you're running, a 1, 2, or 5 that is going to provide that blink stun necessarily. So, yes. So that's why you're going to be playing the 4 roaming Earthshaker, right?
That is one of the many reasons.
Yeah, one of the many reasons. So Earthshaker has what, like a 40% pick rate in 5K plus?
I don't know.
I think
probably.
It's something absurd like that. Like, it is truly disgusting. I'll look it up.
Okay.
I don't think we need to even discuss Earthshaker, why he has such a high pick rate. Yeah, he has a 37.28% pick rate in 5K plus.
Yeah, what's the next highest?
Spirit Breaker, 28.27% pick
Yeah,
rate.
that's a pretty big difference.
Necrophos, 28.16. Those are the three highest.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, but so he... Again, like, I feel like we don't even talk about this because stuns are good. Like, that's really all you got to talk about with Earthshaker, right? Like, stuns are good. You always want stuns. You can pick him in the offlane and the 4 position, which is one of the big reasons why his pick rate is so high compared to, like, Spirit Breaker. That's, like, you pick him as a 4. You can run in the offlane, but it's not good. But
no, you can't run him in the offlane.
You can't run him in the I mean, again,
you
people do.
You can walk the hero to that location.
Yes.
That doesn't mean you can run him in the offlane.
Yes, but yeah, so that's why Earthshaker's pick rate is a little bit, higher than some combo heroes. A lot higher.
It's like
thousands of games,
30% more.
Yes,
that's a fucking p value, dog. You got to respect the p values.
Yeah, so that's Earthshaker, dude. Like, we played this maybe a month ago,
okay.
but
yeah, but this is the difference.
You talk about 4 Earthshaker.
4. All right, well, I fucking suck at offlane Earthshaker, dude. I am horrendous at it. I don't fucking know what it is, but no matter what I do on that hero, I'm level 4 at like 8 minutes, and my blink dagger I get a faster blink dagger as a 4 than a 3. I don't know what the fuck to do on that hero as an offlaner. Honestly, I just get zoned and it sucks. But as a 4,
it's rough.
You know what I do? I just walk around and pick up bounty runes. I pull. I have a TP. I like TP in and fissure anytime anything happens, and then I'm just like, nope, nothing. Don't do anything. Don't do it. And then I just walk back to like my bounty runes, and that's just my shit. And I just like stack, and I just do that little saunter that he does when he goes around. That little that half humanoid gallop that he does, like he's great.
He trots.
He just trots about. He uses gallivanting and he finds bounty runes, and it's good.
Yeah. So
you get blink.
Yeah,
blink.
The big thing Earthshaker is going for him, and the big thing Spirit Breaker, also the other top 4 has going for him, is just they're incredibly tanky, and their talents make them incredibly tankier. And they have a lot of options, right?
Yeah, not super. I mean, Shaker has... I mean, his options are like Blink, and then either Force or Yules, and then...
Yeah.
Maybe Yules, and then...
Yeah, his options... he doesn't have options itemization-wise. I mean, he has some, of course, but he has few options itemization-wise. But his options in terms of, like, what lane you can go in and how you can treat the game in the early game, right? Spirit Breaker has more options itemization-wise and all that. But Earthshaker just gets incredibly tanky. So people always point out, at level 10, you can get 10 strength, which is 200 health. That's like almost, I think it's like 0.6 HP regen per second. And you can also get 250 mana, but in general...
No, it's 1.2. Oh, no, 10 strength. What the fuck? Yeah, that's 0.6.
Nice. All right, math.
I was thinking 200 health, and then I was thinking 20 instead of 10.
But yeah, so he just becomes incredibly tanky and annoying to deal with, right?
Yeah,
like I see a lot of Treads Shaker just because it's like, all right, I have all this strength. What are you going to do to me? The answer is nothing.
No.
I don't play Treads Shaker. I don't
do Treads anymore. I did it for a little bit, but now no.
I played it when I played a mid Shaker game the other day, but
yeah.
But in general, yeah, I would not do that.
Yeah,
that's
I mean,
offlane
I always get Tranquil Soul Ring, but as a support, since I'm not like tanking creeps all the time or like getting like my nose scuffed, I just get the mana boots, man. Like, you're incredibly poor on that hero until all of a sudden you're not, because the way that team fights work is you basically need to expend your entire body to do anything. And so if the team fight is not a complete win, you're pretty much always gonna die. You're always gonna die as Shaker if you are... Like, if I run into a fight and I Echo Slam and then I enchant Totem, like, do you know what happens when that's done? There are, like, 5 angry jocks all around me who are like, who is this fucking furry-ass piece of shit? And then I'm like, oh, my fur's brown. And then they just, like, beat the shit out of my Muppet face and I die. And, like, that's not how you get items. That's how you piece together a wand. So it's, like, super shitty, and you need to go, like, very kind of incremental stuff until you have a team fight where, like, all the jocks die. and then everything's okay, and you're good. You killed all of them, every single one, and then you get to keep your gold, and they don't get to take your lunch money, and then you get a blink dagger, and then everything's great. So like, I just kind of build it super cash, man. You get your boots when you can. I try to save up as much of my starting gold as I can. Like, I'm pretty much just gonna do Tango 2 clarities and a branch and a TP, and then I'll buy like one obs or something. Like, I'll get away as little as I can, and then I'll be left with like 190 gold or something. And at that point, like, all I have to do is steal the enemy's bounty rune and then get my bounty rune, and I've got boots at 2 minutes. And then I can just continue to roam around and, drop fissures on nerds.
Yeah, okay.
I become the jock.
Before we break and play our game, I think we should talk a little bit about what I would say is maybe the biggest struggle a lot of people have playing for, whether it's Earthshaker or anybody else in pub games, is when you have no kill potential on the mid lane and your safe lane or the enemy off lane. What do you do, and where do you go, and what do you do? Because presumably your intention is to kill mid, right? But a lot of games you can't do that. It's like, oh, they pick Dragon Knight, and it's like a freaking
not really
Evoker.
like a ganking for. You're more of like a counter ganking for. Like, you don't really do a lot. Like, you can catch someone if they're in a bad position with like a nice smoke. If your mid is like a quap and she can blink forward and slow them up, and then you can do your little shitty goat saunter on over, and then like, and then it's okay. But beyond that, like, you're not just gonna walk up into a lane and be like, and then you like walk at 330 move speed over, like, hi, let me kill you, give me a minute, I gotta get over there, my stun was far, now I gotta walk there. Like, that's not really gonna happen. You're not gonna get many kills anyway, so you pretty much never have kill potential on Shaker. So you just like get your fucking bounty runes, stack and pull for because your 5 is probably going to be like zoning or whatever. Stack and pull for your carry, and just hang out by the mid lane in case an opportunity presents itself. And then once it's like, odd minute 30, go walk towards the enemy bounty rune and make sure you get that. Pretty much your entire shit revolves around sitting behind people and like making them feel safe, and then picking up free money off the ground. It's like a pretty good life.
Yeah. I mean, so
what do you think, man?
Depending on the matchup, you have good kill potential if your fissures are well placed, and you do have to smoke for it, or if the enemy team doesn't have wards up in certain choke points, you can kind of fight that.
I mean, if you're saying like when you don't, I'm assuming that means when you don't have a smoke, because like anyone with a smoke has kill potential.
Yeah, but our Earthshaker more so than some heroes, right? Like if you have a 4 Bloodseeker at minute 2, like you don't really have kill potential.
Bloodseeker's not a 4. Why would you have that's not even remotely good.
You're right. That was a weird comment to make, but
yeah, I'm trying to think of a 4 with a smoke that like can't do anything.
Well, it's not that I can't do anything, but if you have a good fissure and the matchup is decent, like it's not like the hero has no kill potential.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. You just
even without a smoke, you can
just
have
hang
good
out behind
kill
your 4 and wait for an opportunity, and then beyond that, go get bounty runes, and if you need to stack and pull for your carry, do that. But beyond that, like, yeah, just sit somewhere where there may be an opportunity out of XP range, and then take it. And make sure you have a TP on you to save another lane. But yeah, like for the most part, like if you're Radiant, like just hang out by the Radiant top ancients. Just kind of like be there.
Yeah.
And then if it looks like a good time, like at 5 minutes when it's turned nighttime, yeah, like walk around and get a fissure.
Turns nighttime at 4 minutes.
Yeah, and it turns nighttime at 4 minutes, but 4 minutes is when you're getting the enemy bounty rune and your bounty rune, and then you move over. Also, you're always going to gank immediately as it turns night. The 5 minute mark, though, when it's not on the rune time, that's the secret shit. Does that make sense?
No, that makes sense.
Yeah, don't fucking
I was just clarifying.
Day-night
It was misleading.
It is nighttime. It doesn't turn nighttime, though.
You're right. You're right. You're right.
Anyway, just like hang out around mid, fissure some shit.
Yeah, all right. I'm down for it. So, let's hop into our game. You can watch our VODs, youtube.com/.btv1. That's where those will be. And we'll be back soon.
Okay.
All right, hello everyone. We are back. We've just completed not 1 but 2 games because, boy, our first game was something, and our second game was also something. We've broken our winning streak. We lost both games today. We ended up playing 2 games because the first game was just such an absolute not like not a good game that we just didn't bother.
Yeah.
It was bad enough that somebody independently from our recording in Discord messaged us and was like, "Man, I'm watching your game, and this is some stuff right here." And I was like, "Oh, yeah,
I didn't
it
see
is."
that.
Yeah, Tanaden, I think maybe it was Direwolf, somebody. They messaged in Discord. They're like, "Yo, this is the worst thing I've ever seen." Yeah. So, how do you even want to approach this, Proud?
I don't know. The first game, I had to 5 Earthshaker, and we had a jungler. And that was a loss, and there's nothing
And a safe
really
lane
to talk
solo
about.
specter and a mid lane centaur. So
Right.
it's one of those, like, anytime you can just hear that draft and know, okay, we lost. Yeah.
Yeah, a randomed mid centaur. It was quite the game. And then the second game, I was pretty much entirely mentally checked out of it. And the first time I wanted to pull, and Winter Wyvern wanted to pull at a different time, and then he just like immediately raged on his mic, and I was like, I don't want to play this game. So I didn't buy my TP, and I didn't notice I had gold for my boots until I was at like 550 gold. At which point, Shadow Fiend quickly died, and I was like, all right, I want to go home.
Yeah, so I'll go over the draft for the important game. So we had offlane Nature's Prophet, mid lane Shadow Fiend, a safe lane, tri-lane of Winter Wyvern, Necrophos, and Proud's Earthshaker. The enemy team had a safe lane, duo lane of Rubik and Spectre. They had a roaming Spirit Breaker, they had a mid lane Invoker, and they had an offlane Legion Commander. So what you can tell from the draft is that we lose late game super hardcore. The way that we would have won this game is just through a mid game, like, all right, we have
Just, like snowball off Necrophos doing well,
Yeah.
and getting a bunch of kills.
Necrophos and Shadow Fiend just punch towers, heal, IRAT, and push towers, obviously. And then if they engage on us, we just we disengage, or we counter engage with the Earthshaker. That's theoretically. Also, we can counter engage or engage with Winter Wyvern. Like, our team comp's honestly not that bad. It's just like,
Well, Shadow Fiend sucks. Shadow Fiend is a bad hero.
Really? You think so?
Absolutely.
I don't think he's a good hero, but I don't think he's that bad.
He's bad, though. He's a bad hero. He's a hero that loses things when they die in the mid lane. That's not good.
No, I mean, that
bad.
sucks, yes. And, like, he's the
Who
worst
doesn't die
buyback hero in the
mid
game.
lane? Everyone dies in the mid lane. Because it gets ganked all the time.
Yeah, and they nerf
He's
jungle
bad.
a lot, so he can't just go jungle.
The jungle farms slow. Like, when's the last time you saw a good team pick Shadow Fiend?
I honestly couldn't tell you.
Who does he win lane against? No one. He's okay against Necro, but that's it.
Yeah, he ties out a lot of lanes and just farms, but
Yeah, but like, he's not better than anyone late game. Like, what mid is he better than? He's not better than Lina. He's not better than Necro.
I suppose that's true. I just never thought of him as
dude.
that bad. I just don't pick him because there's always something better.
Yeah, he's shit. I mean, all you need to be is not better than the other heroes to be a bad hero.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I just had not approached it from that perspective.
Well, he's shit, so I'm glad we managed to cover that one.
Yeah, he was pretty weak this game, that's for sure. Like, we
Yeah, what
really
does he do?
Well, in this
He
game,
doesn't
not
do
a whole
anything. He
lot.
sucks.
Theoretically, like, he farms pretty hardcore. He takes his tower early and then rotates around with like an early
How does he take his
Shadow
tower
Blade.
early?
He pushes his lane super hard, and then he does a lot of damage so long as he's
Who
not
doesn't
dying.
do that?
No, not a lot of heroes don't do that to the
He
extent that
doesn't win
Shadow
his
Fiend
lane.
does.
How are you supposed to take their tower if you don't even win your lane?
I mean, you can push super hard.
No.
Yeah. All right.
No, I mean, yeah, you can kill a tower if he's
Yeah.
left alone. Sure.
Yeah. That's fair though. He's definitely not a good hero.
He sucks.
Yeah. So we had Spirit Breaker issues. That's how I'm going to diagnose this game,
You had
especially from my
Spirit Breaker
perspective.
issues. Yeah.
I had Spirit Breaker issues, but everybody had Spirit Breaker issues. Like,
I didn't
he
have
rotated
any
on mid
issues.
lane. Well, you didn't. Congrats, but
was
he
great.
rotated on the mid lane. Mid lane was very hectic, and we traded a few fights, but then we lost a few fights. And then, like, I mean, it's just one of those games. Like, we went late game, but they had a Spectre, and we had a safe lane Necrophos. Like,
Yeah, we just kind
to
of
oversimplify
lost a lot
things,
of
like,
fights.
that's that.
Yeah, And we had Necro Shadow Fiend, and they had Invoker's Spectre, and I didn't play well in the early game, so we didn't have an early advantage, and then we lost the game.
Yeah, I played horribly, Zoo.
That's it.
Like
that's what happened.
In my dialogue, in my monologue on my VOD, it's basically me at like, I want to say 8 minutes, just realizing like, or probably even earlier than that, I was just missing last hits for no reason. And I was like, man, last game I played well, the game was just bad. This game I'm playing well, I'm playing poorly, despite like the game not also, like the game was also bad. But I was playing like noticeably bad this game compared to the previous game where it was just like, yeah, things were just bad. Like my Naturecraft games earlier today, I was like, well, I was last hitting well, I was harassing well, I wasn't feeding to Spirit Breakers like an idiot. I was just getting caught out of position, and I was playing a bit more. I would attribute it like maybe half to me being a bit over aggressive just out of frustration for like how far behind we were and how far behind we felt. But then half me just not being a Nature's Prophet player and like not having the timings down for like
or whatever.
Yeah, the experience to know like how far can I push it before I should TP back, how far, because yeah, and so there were a few times where I died where I was like literally maybe a half a second from TPing out, or I thought I would have been fine, but then somebody would just randomly appear. So it was just really rough. Like I just could not do what I wanted to do.
I didn't even buy the starting items that I said you should buy.
What were your starting items?
I didn't buy a TP.
Oh.
I had 290 gold at the start left over, and I just didn't buy a TP. And I didn't buy boots until I had an extra 150 gold. And then we didn't have an upgraded courier until like 6 minutes. And I was like, oh, whoops. So I really didn't do anything that game, if I'm being honest. I kind of just walked around and tried to pull, but then Wyvern tried to pull, and then it didn't pull, and then it just all went downhill from there.
Well, I think we deserved a week like this after we had like the last 3 or 4 weeks we've won. So, well, sure. we definitely deserve this loss. It was not one of those times where like, oh man, we played so well, but our team was bad. It's like, no, we neither of us played well.
That was pretty bad.
Ugh, yikes. So that's this. I don't know. Is there anything else about this like that we can talk about? Like, we're freaking bad, dude. I just been petting
a cat for the last 5 minutes to keep my mind in this remotely.
Yeah,
this game sucked.
Yeah, we were just bad. Like, oh, man, I've been on such a Dota high recently. Like, I've had so many good games in like the past 3 days. Yeah. And these 2 games just sucked it all out of me, dude. Like,
yeah, I was like excited. I was like, damn, we have to play 2 games. I want to get back to my solo queue. I'm like, I'm gonna go back to playing Guilty Gear for the rest of the night and maybe try again tomorrow.
Yeah, someday we'll get a patch.
I'm gonna play again. It's just not gonna go well.
Well, like at least you know that.
I'm just saying what I should do, and then I'm gonna play more.
All right. That's about like. I mean, we tried to do what we wanted to do, but it didn't go well.
We tried, everyone, but
I didn't even like build items. Today. Like, there's not even anything I talk about. Like, I built the items I talked about earlier, but I couldn't get anywhere with them because I had no frickin' money because I was feeding.
At least we learned that against Spirit Breaker, you should buy Lincolns on profit.
Yeah, I did eventually have the Lincolns, but I got it so late. It was after the phase.
Yeah, after you had already died 8 times, so it didn't really matter anymore.
Yeah, and then like the one time I was all proud of myself, I was like, I was paying attention to the minimap. I was like, all right, Spirit Breaker's charging me now. I have like 5 seconds before he comes here. So I was like, all right, I'll wait. I'll cast this to put some trees down and do this, and then Invoker was just invisible behind me and killed me. And I was like, this is some kind of sick, dumb joke. I finally do the right thing in Spirit Breaker, and Invoker kills me. To be fair, that Invoker was very good. Like, he stomped all over that game. And yeah, you know he's a good Invoker because he built a whole bunch of defensive items, and he was not like sad about it, and he still played well. That's like, I hate doing that, dude. Any Invoker game where you have to have Lincolns and a BKB and a Blink, you're like, oh boy, where's
what offensive items do you need? You're Invoker. You have 9 spells.
Yeah, but you want to have like a Sheep or a Shiva's or a Refresher Orb. Instead, you're like, oh, I got to build a BKB and a Lincoln's. Like, oh,
those are like
fun.
Early game items, and you're describing very late game items.
Well, I mean, it's all slots. Like, you farm so well. Like,
well, yeah, you got Travels, BKB, Lincoln's, Midas. How many other slots do you need?
I mean, you need like you're super slot starved on Invoker.
I know, but I'm saying that you got space for Invoker or for BKB Lincoln's.
Yeah, you do, but it removes all the space for fun items. Like, you can't build a sheep, you can't build a bloodthorn if you have these items. Like, at one point he had to swap his Octarine core out of his inventory to put in a BKB.
Octarine. And
like,
yeah, you have like Ags, yeah, I guess. And then you're right.
Yeah, I mean, like, you're super slot starved because you have so many mandatory items.
You get one fun item. Okay, you said
exactly.
BKB Lincoln's, and I forgot about Ags and Octarine.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Like, and you're always gonna have 3 slots basically committed, and 4 if you're a Blink player. Like, most people build Blink. Some people skip Blink, which, whatever. But yeah, you really have like 1 slot to play with. That's why normally you get either Lincoln's or BKB. But if you have to get both, like, and then he still did really well, like, that's very what's the word?
Commendable.
Commendable, yeah. That's disciplined. That's the word. Like, that's just good play, right? He's like, I'm not gonna build fun items. I'm just gonna win MMR. Also, there were 5 solo players, and we had 2 stacks on our team, which XD, like, thanks Valve matchmaking. They should be mad. Like, normally this would be an advantage for the people in stacks, but like, that's ridiculous. Why is this a thing that happened? This happened last week too, I think.
Yeah.
Nonsense.
Man, Valve is such a company.
Yeah, boy. Yep, there's something. All right, well, this has been Theorycraft Thursday. I'm glad that the first part was exciting and fun because we're definitely ending on a down note after like one of the worst losses, and not only that, we lost 2 games in a row. Gosh, all right. Well, we'll see you guys next week. This has been Theorycraft Thursday. You can find us on patreon.com/defensethe if you want to support us. You can email us defensethepations@gmail.com. Discord.gg/.p. The in-houses are Wednesdays at 9 Eastern. You can catch those on twitch.tv/.ptv even if you're not playing. If you are interested in playing, just show up and get a slot. Everybody will give you the rules and whatnot in the Discord, etc. Very fun. You can find us on Twitter at Ursinity, at ProudDota, at @p_show. That's about it. We're all done. If you want to pursue, that's it. That's about it. If you've lost, blame your solo Save Lane Spectre or Jungle Ursa.
Blame yourself.